Good evening. Good evening. I would like to welcome everybody to the Human Relations Commission special meeting for January 19th, 2022. I'd like to hand roll call over to staff.
Vice Chair Eberly.
Here.
Commissioner Kraus.
Here.
Commissioner Regier.
Here.
Commissioner Savage.
Here.
Chair Smith.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any agenda changes, requests, or deletions? All right, hearing none. Do we have any oral communications from the public? There is no public. All right. Have we had an opportunity to review our minutes for November 18th, 2021? If I would accept a motion to accept the minutes.
A motion.
Mhm.
I'll second it.
There we go. We will run the vote from the top of the alphabet. Vice Chair Eberly.
I approve. Aye.
Commissioner Kraus.
Aye.
Commissioner Regier.
Aye.
Commissioner Savage.
Aye.
Chair Smith. Aye. Thank you so much. We have the adoption of a resolution authorizing the use of teleconferencing for Human Relations Commission's meeting during the COVID-19 state of emergency. I would like to ask staff where we stand. In November, there was a whole bunch of buzzing about going back in and but I know that the plan has changed. I don't even know if we have a replacement plan.
Right. I'll say what the plan is, and if Vin has any corrections to what I say, I'll ask him to come on camera. The last I understand is that the direction is for commissions to continue until March. I think at some time in February, the council will reconsider, what its direction for commissions are. At this point, even the council is completely remote. They were going to a hybrid meeting, and they have since gone back to only remote. So I will continue to keep you informed about this. So there is still the need, as you did at your meeting in November, to meet the satisfaction of this resolution that authorizes the Human Relations Commission to conduct this meeting in a virtual format due to the continued need for remote meetings in response to the COVID-19 emergency. So as a reminder, you were all here, I believe, in November. So you need to have any discussion about this or have any questions. And this needs to be passed or the meeting will be ended, because there is the need to pass this to be able to proceed.
I have a question for you, and this is more a procedural question than anything. Can we pass one motion that says January, February? We just have to do it every time.
You have to do it every 30 days. Now, so this may, Vin, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's my understanding if you pass it now, and if it falls within the date frame of your February meeting or the retreat, then you would not need to do it again. Is that correct, Vin?
I would have to double check on that. I'm not sure if the council direction was every month or every 30 days. If it's every 30 days, then yes, you would.
Yeah, I believe the information that we received is after every 30 days. So I would say let's pass it for the time frame that it states in the attachment that you have, or consider passing it. And then if there is not the need to do so at your next scheduled meeting, I will communicate that to the chair and vice chair.
Okay. I would like for someone to place a motion on the floor for this.
I can do it, or
No, that's fine. Go ahead, Commissioner Clark.
I urge the commission to agree with council recommendations regarding in-person and virtual meetings going forward or until February or month to month?
I would suggest that if you look at, I'm using the same language as you did in your last, in your meeting notes from last time, and I can read those to you. Hold on a minute, please. So what you could state is to adopt a resolution authorizing the use of teleconferencing under Government Code 54953E for the meeting of the Human Relations Commission and its committees due to the COVID-19 state of emergency.
Thank you. I agree.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All right, we will do the vote from the back of the alphabet this time. Chair Smith? Yes. Commissioner Savage?
Aye.
Commissioner Regier?
Aye.
Commissioner Kraus?
Aye.
Commissioner Vice Chair Eberly?
Aye.
Okay, all right. This has passed unanimously. I will hand over the meeting to staff at this point.
Great. And just a point of order for the floor of the meeting, there were no public attendees, so there was no comments. Okay, so the next item is the election of a chair. So of the Human Relations Commission. So I will go over the guidelines as they are stated in regards to the process. So what will happen is the outgoing chair will explain the general duties and responsibilities of the chair, including the monthly time commitment to facilitate the meeting. The chair opens the floor to nominations for the position of chair. Commissioners may nominate one commissioner at a time. The person nominated must be present at the meeting. A commissioner may enter their own name into nomination. The person offering the nomination can explain why they have nominated the person or why they would be appropriate for the position. The chair asks the nominated person if they are willing to accept. Commissioners continue to nominate additional candidates. With each nomination, the chair asks the person nominated if they are willing to accept the nomination. When there are no further nominations from the floor, the chair asks for, or a commissioner offers, a motion to close the nominations. The motion is seconded and the commission votes to close the nominations. At that point, since this is a virtual meeting, we will undo the vote oral fashion. If there is one candidate, you can state yay, nay, or abstain. If there are two candidates or more candidates, you will state the name of the person you are voting for. There are 3 votes needed to pass. There are not established term limits, so there is not a term limit to a chair or vice chair continue putting their name up or being nominated to continue to serve in a position. So Commissioner Savage, you have a question. And then I'll go to,
I was just, no question.
okay, if you could put your hand down, that would be great. Commissioner Regier, you have a question.
I didn't have a question either. I think
Okay.
we're both jumping to the gun.
Okay,
All right. The role of the chair of the HRC has several different elements. The first element is the actual agenda planning and in designing with staff. That can take anywhere from 5 to 10 hours in a month, depending on the intensity of the meeting, depending on the preparation, depending on whether we need to get guests in. There's a lot of conversation. I don't think there's a week that goes by that me and Minka do not speak. The second leg of the responsibilities is liaisoning with the public. So you get invitations to hear, be, or listen to the public in our community to get information, to hear perspectives. That can be anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. And the final part is liaisoning with the city. There are a lot of city initiatives and city officials that you will work with. And that could be anywhere from 5 to 20 hours in the month, depending on what month it is. So that is the responsibilities. Staff, you may take nominations.
Thank you, Chair. So now we will open nominations for the position of Chair. I'll go to Commissioner Savage and then Commissioner Regier. Commissioner Savage.
Okay, it is an honor and a privilege to nominate the current chair of the HRC, Coloma Smith, for another term. In the past few years, Chair Smith has demonstrated his leadership abilities again and again. He has taken the HRC to new heights and new areas. He's not afraid to take a stand, even if it is an unpopular one. And by doing this, he has gained the respect of community leaders, as well as probably the whole community as a whole. He is fair, he is consistent, and he has a caring and dignified approach when dealing with others. We've been fortunate to have Chair Smith on the HRC, and I hope he will be given the opportunity to continue to lead this commission. He is the right person for the right position at the right time.
Thank you. Chair Smith, are you willing to accept the nomination?
I am absolutely honored, and I consider it a great honor to lead this commission. And I'm flattered at the description that Commissioner Savage gave. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Regier.
I'd like to nominate Michelle Kraus. I think that she would be an excellent, and this has nothing to do with Chair Smith, but I think that she would be an excellent addition as a chair. And I think I've seen her in operation. She has very strong connections to many people of the community. I've seen her be very responsive to not only myself, but to other people on the commission. I think her vast knowledge of political savvy would bring a lot new blood to this commission. And I also think that her passion and her skills would bring something, would add. And I think that it would be nice to have a new kind of, a new person to take the lead on this commission so that we could grow even further. And I've worked very well with her, and I know that she's very well respected in the community. And I think it would be a very good way for us to carry on who we are and to add a little bit new leadership.
Thank you. Commissioner. Commissioner Kraus, are you willing to accept the nomination?
Yes, and I'm also willing to be vice chair if that's appropriate, because I think Chair Smith has done a good job.
Well, thank you. So the position of vice chair will come up again next January. Yes, but I just wanted to say yes.
Yes.
So yes. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Will someone please make a motion to close the nominations?
I move to close the nominations.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, if we can just take, Chair Smith, you can do the roll call for the vote.
All right, we will start at the top of the.
And this is the vote to close the nominations, folks, just for a clarification.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Eberly,
Aye.
Commissioner Kraus,
Aye.
Commissioner Regier.
Aye.
Commissioner Savage,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith, aye. The vote is closed.
Thank you. So at this point, we will do the vote for the chair. There are two candidates. There is Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Kraus. So I will do a roll call. And at that point, please state the name of the individual that you are voting for. And I think, thank you. Thank you, Vin. So I will start at what I think is the start of the alphabet. So that is Commissioner Eberly,
Chair Smith.
Commissioner Kraus.
Kraus,
Thank you. Commissioner Regier.
Commissioner Kraus,
Thank you. Commissioner Savage,
Chair Smith,
Commissioner Smith.
Chair Smith.
Okay. So thank you all. We do have a motion that has passed. So that would be for the election of Commissioner Smith as chairperson.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you, everybody, for
And
the.
thank you, Commissioner Kraus, for
Thank you.
putting your name forward as well.
Thank you, everyone, for the vote of confidence. Commissioner Kraus, thank you. We've talked and interchanged a lot, and we know that you have a bright future on this commission. So we're grateful for your presence. All right, let us do a quick discussion on our upcoming Human Relations Commission retreat. I've had four things that I will describe to you in brief that we will discuss at the Human Relations Commission. And then I will give you a little bit of homework for the Human Relations Commission retreat when it's planned. I've been fortunate to have an extensive conversation with our city manager. The city of Palo Alto will enter into the process to look for a new chief of police in the next month or so.
Mhm.
He is looking and asking for the HRC to be a significant part of the process by being a place for public comment. I want you to think about what that looks like, what people in the community we can encourage to be here for that. He would most likely visit one of our meetings in the spring or late winter, early spring, and would use that as a forum as we talk about what does this community need from its chief of police. What we're, no man is perfect. So what we're disappointed with, what we expect, what we've seen, what kind of track record. I think this becomes an extremely important opportunity. So we're looking for feedback on how to structure that, how to make that work, how to make that make sense. It was actually four things. The next thing that we want to look at is, in speaking with the city manager, they've been very impressed with the work that we've done around diversity. So they're going to do formal bias and diversity training with commissions moving forward, but they would like to task the HRC to be part of that, to talk about how a planning commission, how a parks commission, how an arts commission can do more diversity or put diversity and inclusion in the thought process of their decisions. So how does zoning, how do parks, how do art projects, how do you look from a lens of equity and fairness in the community? I brought up to him in this conversation, this final piece where I said to him, we want to be active in this in equality of housing and equity in housing, because I know that's very important to this commission. He gave a suggestion. He said, he said, one of the things, and I'll use the case in Marin, for example, there was an African-American couple that had a beautiful house, renovated it, and it was in the news that the first time it was appraised $500,000 less. Led to a big lawsuit. And he says, how do we train people in our community if we had every unit we need to make sure they are not biased and do not allow a diversity into the community? So how do we, for example, work with Project Sentinel to make sure people are following the HUD guidelines, training rental owners to make sure that they're giving correct equity and diversity in their renting out. Because, one of the challenges I foresee, and if you talk to those that are in marginalized communities, it's not just the dollars, it's also the attitudes. So it's an interesting side of the whole conversation. And then the final thing is we will be reporting in a study session. It will be myself, Chair Eberly, Vice Chair Eberly, and former Vice Chair Stinger. We will be going in front of City Council for a study session on the 24th. And we will once again be lifting up our 100 conversation and looking for, the city is looking for us to continue that. And what does that look like? I don't know. And then finally, I will say this. I would love to hear robust public commentary. I would like to also hear robust feedback from commissioners on priorities. We do have to leave out of our retreat with a really concrete and firm look at where we're heading as a commission, because each commission is required to deliver a work plan by the end of February, I believe it is, so that the council can review it. So we need to make sure that we can tighten in and get some focus on what we're doing. Do we have any questions on the Human Relations Retreat? Yes, Commissioner Savage.
There you go. Are you looking for suggestions on what else to talk about? Is that it?
No, I'd say bring the suggestions to the meeting. I just wanted to lay out what I had from some third-party sources. I have some independent thoughts, but I'm not going to lay them out tonight.
Okay.
But I just sort of want to give you some of the external input so that when we get to the meeting, you'd have some time to think about it, I feel, and become cognizant on the stuff. So there we go. Yes, Commissioner Regier.
I just have a point of the way the retreat was last year, and I'd like to just try to avoid what happened last year, which was positions and how people were just put on different funding sources, different areas of I don't know how to describe it. We were appointed, and it didn't seem like it was a commission. It seemed like it was, and it was a shock to me. And also when I was trying to respond back, no one was responding. And I think that I had reasons why I couldn't do the one funding one that I was appointed to. And I don't think that the chair and the vice chair should just appoint people without talking to them ahead of time, because it didn't seem like it was a commission. We're a commission, and I think that discussion of what we're going to be part of and what we're not. And
so we have one challenge. It's the Brown Act, because if I sit with staff and the vice chair and we discuss it and lay it out and say this is where we think and what be good and XYZ, the next place that we could bring it up with the commissioners is the retreat for discussion.
I agree. That's what's happened at the prior retreat that we were on. We weren't just assigned things. And I'm just saying that we're a commission, and I think that we shouldn't be just assigned. We should have a discussion of who wants to be on that, who doesn't, during our retreat.
Okay, we can definitely do that.
Because that's what it's happened, and I mean, that's what other retreats have been.
Okay, we can definitely do that. All right. Anyone else?
So just to clarify a little bit more, like what we've been doing since Commissioner Krause and I have joined the commission, right? Like we've discussed some topics, and then Commissioner Krause volunteered to work on housing and be the liaison with the police department.
Yep.
That's what you want to see, right, Commissioner Regier? Like we'll talk about it.
That, because at the last retreat, that's not how it was done. And also there was different other like emergent, there are different funding sources that we're different. I don't know what like the emergency fund, the community block grants, all that was assigned. And it was very awkward. And I I had reasons why I didn't want to do this other one, and we should have had a discussion at the meeting of who wants to do either one, you know.
Okay, we could definitely do that. So just to clarify for everybody, that there's three fiduciary assignments that we have. When I say fiduciary, it means the appointments of funds. That is CDBG,
Mhm.
here's RAP, and emerging needs. I am open. We can have a discussion about it. I mean, and we can go from there. We'll see where we end up with.
Right.
Okay.
May I ask a couple questions or raise a couple points, Chair?
I was going, are you going to raise the point that it's not a non-funding year for the 2 of 3?
No, I can't say that. Well, it's going to be a funding year a year from now.
Mhm.
But, the work of, there will be some HISRAP work because what I'm going to bring up is a review of the HISRAP application. So I'm hoping to get some commissioners to, assist with that. The point I was going to bring up for Commissioner Kraus and Commissioner Eberly is that there are some things that are assigned to the city, to the HRC by the council or by city staff. And those are always items that the commission responds to. Then there's all the other topics and areas that commissioners would like to bring forth to the commission. Now, you might bring forth like 15 ideas. So there will be some type, you only have so much time and only have so much energy to do so many projects. So there may be, depending on what happens at the meeting, there might be some prioritizing. So there might be some ways of looking at all the suggestions and seeing, which ones, by whatever process you all, is established to decide which ones will be worked on next year. So there will be more discussions on that. The other thing is I just wanted, I'll meet with the chair and the vice chair. We've had retreats that have gone from like 9 to 1, 9 to 2. So I asked you to hold the 12th from 9 to 2 available. But as far as the exact time, I will let you know that after I'm in discussion with the chair and the vice chair, who are going to work with me to plan the retreat. At one point, we had hopes it would be in person. At this point, I'm thinking for people's comfort level and for the members of the public, it would be a virtual retreat.
Okay. So that's where we're at. I just say, as we come forward, I am trying to talk to city officials about getting us more commissioners back. But given the limited amount of commissioners that we have, we generally want to stick to 3 or 4 main areas of focus. So that's going to lead to some difficult discussions, but I would rather us have a difficult discussion on the front end than us be spread too thin on the back end. Because one of the things that we've been able to do to increase our effectiveness, and I think this is why we're getting offered to be in processes that we've never been involved before, was that we were very focused and we executed very well on them. So it is up to us to really do that. I'll tell you, the police chief thing is a big deal. So I really want to make sure that we really are there for that. All right. Any other questions for me?
One question I have, and maybe it's for Daryl, if I may ask, what's the protocol in the police department? We've met with the chief and the vice chief. Is there a protocol by which there is consideration for the vice chief to take a step up? Or is it an open process looking for a new chief?
Well, it's called the assistant chief, not the vice chief.
Okay, sorry.
No, that is not part of our responsibility.
No, but
The
what's,
city manager and city council.
okay.
So
And
the
then-
actual process for this, as explained to me by the it's the job of the city manager to find and get the right candidate. That could be internal, external. This is America. It has to be open to everybody.
Okay,
So, and it's his job to pick and hire the person and then get an affirmative vote from the council.
okay.
Now, what he is doing, which I would say is commendable, is that he is looking at community input, and he's using us to be a significant part. He's probably going to do one session with clergy and some other things in the mix, but we have a voice and an audience. And I think it's so important for us to be very clear, be very concise, to ask the right questions, to really get in there and ask the hard questions. I mean, part of our responsibility is to ask hard questions in respectful ways, hear the voice of our community, what their issues are, and really speak to it. Because this is not a witch hunt. This is like trying to get the dream list together of what we're looking for from a candidate. So knowing what we've been disappointed with, knowing what we hope for, and really engaging the public to be part of this process. Because we can't complain in 36 months about police policy and police chiefs if when we had the opportunity, we did not give clear, concise, usable, policy-minded consideration to this process. You know, and I would say this is not about personalities. I don't care what the one before and the one did and this one did. I care about what are the things and the characteristics that we need in this city from the next one. All right.
Chair, we have one public comment for this agenda item.
They have.
So if you could call up the clock, please.
Mr. James, you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Let me go ahead and, okay. Then you might need to do it. It looks like I'm not co-host at this point, so it's not allowing me to
Sure, no problem.
allow Mr. James to speak.
James, you can go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I missed oral communication because I feel like I cheated on you guys tonight. I went over to the planning and transportation and oral communication. So just so I'm clear, Minka, what is the subject that I'm speaking to? Is this the retreat?
This is the retreat, Mr. James.
So, at the retreat, you're talking about selecting a new chief. I'm talking about my number one priority. I put this out. You've probably seen the notes for the year. Usually I have 3. Is to fire the current police chief before we talk about getting a new chief. He's been a disaster, no transparency. We've had you all know about the fuse. It was several years before we found out about the conversation that we still have a member of the police department that glorifies violence by police officers based on their comments. We had the encryption issue, we had the canine attacks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the chair is correct. We got to find the right person. In the past, I demanded that we had 3 candidates that the public could select from. That did go forward when Dennis Burns was selected the chief. There were 2 other candidates. Didn't go far enough because they weren't brought in for the public to interview the 3 candidates. I had to do it by phone and other things. So there's other ways that Ed Chicata can do it than simply just do a secret process where people behind closed doors get to ask the tough questions, so-called tough questions, but the rest of the public doesn't get to do that. So the other thing I want to approach is because you had this little letter supporting, no anti-Semitism, which is great. As a Jew, I support that. But I also want to have a letter from the commission supporting Palestine's right to have a nation. to have a free nation of their own. So let's talk about this year. I know that we've got some really powerful Zionists on this commission that are going to be opposed to that, but that's okay. We can still have an open and respectful conversation about that this year. Also, tomorrow night, you might want to tune in. I sent you guys an invitation to a discussion about whether we want to have a new jail, an additional jail in Santa Clara County, or whether we don't. I'm opposed to that. I'll be talking about it. I've written a letter to Semidian saying don't vote for the jail. It takes us back to mass incarceration, slave days, a continuation of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Thank you, Mr. James. I don't know if you are aware, the reason we're talking about a new chief is because our current chief has other plans and will not be in the position. So we'll just move on from there. All right. Let's do some commissioner reports. Do we have any commissioner reports today?
I'll go if
Yes, thank you.
nobody else. So I had the chance to meet with the chairs of the Palo Alto mediation program. And we are meeting again on Friday. They are starting their recruitment process and they want to work with us. So I'll be working with them on recruitment, but they're also interested in helping us in any way they can. And actually, one of the ways that I think we should talk about this at the retreat, that they can help with equity and housing is being a place where, if anybody's feeling like they were discriminated, they can go to PAMP. So I'm interested in making them more visible in the community and looking into that. But they are basically willing and excited to help us with anything that they can, that they can help us with. I didn't know the extent, they do all sorts of mediation. I thought it was more just landlord tenant, but it can be anything. You have a problem with your neighbor down the street, instead of posting it on Nextdoor, then maybe you can call them and they can help out, diffuse a lot of the situations. So I'm excited. Like I said, we're meeting again on Friday, but I'm hoping that when we have the retreat, I can come up with some options of what they can do to help us out, in achieving our goals for the commission as well.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Vice Chair. Commissioner Ricker.
Hi, yes, I've been working with Project Safety Net, and they have a couple of announcements. One is they're looking for a youth advisory group, the Stanford Center for Youth Mental Health and Wellbeing, and they're recruiting youth between 16 and 25 to be on their commission. And they're also doing an arts. There's another group that's doing art centers, art competitions, and that's Stigma Free World with the Be Honest program. And that's due on the 4/29. And May is the Mental Health Month, and it's also Santa Clara County Suicide Prevention Month. So we're looking for ideas of what we could do around that for Mental Health Month in May. And so I've been doing that. And also I've been because last 2 years ago, one of my goals was the issues was global climate awareness and climate emergency. And I've been working on the sustainability for the school district on that committee. And we've been just trying to get everything back, trying to get more zero waste stuff, and also COVID protections. And that's my kind of thing. And also I wanted to say that and maybe Michelle might know more, but this country is giving you have to sign up for free COVID tests and you can get them delivered to your home, but it's only 4 per residency. And maybe Minka might know, or Michelle, I was wondering about people that are in house living in our safe parking lots, what addresses and people that they can use for their address. And I sent out a note to Move Mountain View, but I haven't heard, but I am curious because I've heard that they can use not their mailing address, but their other addresses. But do you know how they could sign up for getting the COVID tests?
I don't know that specifically. I can check with the Opportunity Center. I will say with the clinic at the Opportunity Center run by Peninsula Healthcare Connections, they are continuing to do vaccinations and COVID testing. So that is a source for unhoused members of the community that's right there at the Opportunity Center to be tested and to be vaccinated. But I know in a general sense, people can use the Opportunity Center as a mailing address. The question is, how does that work with the government? I already signed up for mine yesterday. It was really easy. I'm not sure if there's a lot of looking at, multiple people from the same address. So I will check with the Opportunity Center staff tomorrow, and I could let the commission know.
Because I've also heard that it's hard for some people when they live in an apartment building because they're saying only 4 per residency, and if you have the same, and I'm interested in that one too.
Right. It would seem to me that the unhoused, that is one thing. It would seem to me, since I would think a huge percentage of the population lives in multi-family dwellings, that is something that the system can handle as far as apartment numbers. But I will see if there's anybody in our Office of Emergency Services that has heard about that aspect of the issue, and I will check with the Opportunity Center about the mail tests.
Right, because I think it's mostly it's also about registration for voting, but mostly I'm thinking that if people are in a house and they're living in their car, that is their
house.
they should have to go all the way to Opportunity Center.
Well, but how would you say
So
they would?
So
get
if you
it
could just,
then?
This is, I think for this discussion, I think talking first to the experts before we extrapolate out would be
no,
good.
no, I know. That's what I'm just wondering is what address if you could find out, because I did talk to someone that does deal with vaccine.
And I think there is a robust system at this point. We're 24 months in, right? So there has to be a robust system for those that have been challenged with
Yes.
housing insecurity. So
The county meets with homeless service providers every other week for hour-long meetings with the public health department, and issues regarding testing and issues regarding vaccinations is every meeting occurrence to resource.
Right. This
resource
just
people.
came up yesterday is when you started being able to sign up for the 4 tests.
I
it's gonna
understand,
be
but I'm
limited.
talking about other resources for testing for that
Right.
community.
No, they're pretty aware of it. I'm
Yes.
just mostly interested in the unhoused being able to get what address can they get so they can each household get 4, even if they're living in their car.
Okay, I will see what I can find
Thank
out and
you.
get back to you.
Great, thank you.
all right. The Commissioner Krause.
Yes. Chair, you and I spoke about having some information available
Mhm.
for sources of good maths tests, etc. And I have gone to a variety of sources. We'll have that information, spoke to staff earlier today, and she was going to find out if her legal person in the city could do a disclaimer, as you and I discussed.
So
Um,
So one of the things, just to give everybody some context of what we're talking about, HRC is not a continuing body. It is a meeting body. So what we have discussed with Commissioner Kraus, which I think is sending to our list a one-time email resource, because getting tests and this, that, and Commissioner Kraus has some resourcing. The challenge that she is talking about right now is, since we are part of the city, we just want to make sure the right legal disclaimers are on it. You know, for example, we at my church, we put out the federal test as an email to our community social media, and we were clear in our description that
Yeah.
this was not this is not a university thing. This is a federal government program. We're just encouraging you to go get it. I don't know what the challenges will be with the city. That's a different entity and it has different legal things. So I'm grateful for your work, and I'm grateful for Minka's work in making sure we get the right, how can I say it, the right compliance to make sure that all sources, but thank you again for being proactive on that.
Yeah, well, it was part of a larger discussion about how we could be more proactive in public health going forward in terms of being a hub for information with the emergency personnel of the city.
I mean, I think
That was your suggestion, and I agree.
I think the question, this, as we look at it, the question becomes, and maybe I'll ask you to talk to the emergency folks and see how we can partner with them, and go from there. I mean, I don't, again, like we were talking about, like those that are dealing with housing scarcity and addresses and how to get it. I don't have expertise on that. So I think the best solution would be to talk to those and say, how can a commission in the city be here to help you in spots? Again, we don't have the capacity because we're already on demand by only having 5 people to do a continuous piece, but are there like projects that we can swoop in on and help? So, okay. My final report that I have is yesterday I was invited by our current mayor, or former mayor, and our current vice mayor to sit on a call with our sibling city, which is Bloomington, Indiana. Bloomington, Indiana has some characteristics that are very similar to Palo Alto in the fact that it is where the University of Indiana is, and it's a college town. It has some tech industry, has some people there. So we are looking for dynamic ways. I've received like 3 emails about it already today, about how we on the Human Relations Commission can partner with this and do some interesting exchange and interchange with it. As the project becomes more solidified, I would like to bring a few of the commissioners along so that they can be helpful with that. I think it becomes critical that our exposure goes beyond our city, that we can learn, see, and discuss with others things that can be done or things that they are doing in their local principalities and their local municipalities. All right. Do we have public comment for council commissioner reports? I can't.
There is not public comment on reports from officials.
Thank you much. I would like to hear the staff report if we do not have any other commissioner reports.
So that I do not have anything else to report. I will let the commission know that I will forward to them the information for Monday's council meeting. So at 5 p.m. As the chair spoke to earlier, he, the vice chair and the former vice chair will be present for the study session with the council. So a study session is just an informational session on a topic and the council provides feedback. They don't make any recommendations that they vote on. It's purely like an informational conversation. So that is right at the beginning of the council meeting. That's the nice thing about it. So that will be Monday at 5 p.m. and I will send you a link to that council meeting. And that is all I had, Chair.
All right. All right. I think we have a lot. We have a lot to deal with this year. I am hopeful that we can, at our retreat and after the council meeting, we can start mapping out a way to be more impactful and effective than we've been before. I think we have some real significant opportunities. And I think we just have to make sure that we take advantage of the right opportunities. Somebody said it's not the ability to take advantage of every opportunity. It's the ability to take advantage of the right opportunity. So let's make sure we pick the right opportunities and let's have a robust discussion to make sure that we get there. So enjoy your evening. I think, Minka, that's got to be a record for us.
Probably. I just want to confirm, Chair, since I was asked by another commissioner earlier in the week, that the retreat will take the place of the regular February meeting. The retreat is on the 12th and our regular meeting is on the 10th. So are we, is that your
Yeah.
understanding as well?
That would be my understanding.
Okay. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Everyone, please have a good evening. Enjoy time with your family. Stay safe during this weird pandemic season. And we'll go from there.
Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.